Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Harold Games, and welcome to a first video in a long time. It's been a long time since I've uploaded on this channel, and I'm excited to get this going here. Just a quick note: if you hear chirping in the background, that is my bird chirping. You probably heard him right there. I have a parakeet in case people don't know, but I'm excited to get this video going. And this is a little bit of a late, considering the World Cup ended a week and a half ago, but I figured I might as well do something for the World Cup, and here we go. I also am planning on doing a F1 2026 career mode. It's F1 2025, but with the 2026 DLC. That way I can at least get a proper series started on the channel, because I think I found a way to be able to record stuff as I go. But we're going to be doing a 256 team, that is every nation in the world, I believe. A team knockout, or at least every nation in the world who has a football team. We're going to go based off of the most recent Formula One, most recent World Cup team ever, or World Cup. And what we're going to do is we are going to simulate every single game. I know some YouTubers have done this, and they've simulated to the round of 32 immediately and then gone a little bit closer like that. We're actually going to go through every single individual game and do it like this. If you want to know the website, just look up 256teams.com. You can find it there. You don't have to log in, but I logged in so I could at least save it. You could do a bunch of other stuff, I believe, so like Premier League Simulator 2. I'm not sure if you can do anything else at this moment, but it's alright. You can change your style, your goal level, and everything. We're going to keep everything on the normal settings and just see what happens. And here we go. Now let's start tournaments. So here we go. The first round of the 256 team World Cup tournaments begins with Thailand and Guadeloupe. And what we're going to do is we're going to play this tie. We're going to go to ×4 or ×5, I guess, and just see what happens. It's 0-0 through the first half. There we have a goal for Thailand, and a goal for Andre Williams for Guadeloupe, and a late finish by Kamyok for Thailand. And Thailand has won their first group game, have knocked out Guadeloupe. So Guadeloupe's out. Now it's North Macedonia versus the Solomon Islands. I think North Macedonia has this one. Let's kick this one off. Whoops. We'll do ×5. Solomon Islands gets the goal scoring started. A second one for the SI. A quick strike for Macedonia, and that will do it. Solomon Islands have moved on, as it came up in the bottom right, Giant Killers and Solomon Islands have upset North Macedonia. Next, the Netherlands versus Bhutan. I'm going to predict Netherlands will win this one. Let's see if they do. All Bhutan with an early strike. The Orange Army in danger. They score in the 88th minute, and we have a penalty shootout. Netherlands scored the first goal. Bhutan misses. Netherlands is up 2-0. 2-0, a huge advantage here. If Bhutan misses, they're out. They're out. Bhutan is out. And the Netherlands win a late scare, but a 88th minute goal by Geertruida, if that's how you pronounce his name properly, finishes it. Next, we have Togo versus Antigua and Barbuda. I think Togo will win this one, but let's see. We have an early goal for Antigua and Barbuda. Second half, and we have even up. And a penalty. And it's wide. I don't know who got the penalty, but... Oh, 2-1 Togo. I don't know why I went the extra time, but Togo upsets Antigua, or does not upset. I think they were the better team. Now we have the UAE, United Arab Emirates versus Lesotho. Let's see who wins this one. Now, I believe it's around 156 means there's 120... 128 matches. Oh, penalty, and it's a goal for... Oh, we have penalties. Sorry. 2-1 UAE. 2-2. 3-2 UAE. Let's finish. 4-3. Whoa, big fifth. Lesotho to keep it alive. And they do. Lesotho has to score. They do. Oh, we're going to have a long penalty. Oh, man. Pressure is building. And a save. United Arab Emirates beat Lesotho in pens. Wow. What a finish there. 8-7. We have Poland against Grenada. I'm assuming Poland is the favorites in this game. Poland immediately score in the 4th minute. They're up 2-0. Looks like they're going to win this one. 3-0. And that is it. Poland with win 3-0. You also see the Golden Boot race up here. You know, you have Poland. I don't want to butcher the last name. I'm going to say Swiderski. And then we have New Zealand versus Myanmar. I think New Zealand has this one. We're up 1-0. Chris Wood. We have a penalty. I'm assuming this is for New Zealand. They score, and it is for New Zealand. And for Myanmar, they're out, as it's going to be a 3-0 victory. We have back-to-back 3-0 victories after a few early tough games. And we have Tunisia versus Niue. See if Tunisia wins this one. We have a penalty. Mastori, he misses it. I think that was for Tunisia. And we have a goal for Tunisia now. And they are going to move on and advance. Croatia versus Malta. I expect Luka Modric to win this one. And, oh man, we're going to have extra time and a goal for Croatia. A penalty. Who is this for? It's a goal. It's for Croatia, and they're going to win. They were probably scared there in Croatia. They did get an injury, though. That's interesting. 2-0 after extra time. And Croatia advances now. It's Niger versus Jersey. African team. And Jersey's up 1-0. 1-1. Gibrilla. 2-1. And Niger moves on. They beat Jersey. Chris MD. What? What? Shout out YouTuber Chris MD. Wow. Colombia versus Wallace and Futuna. I have a feeling Colombia will win this one. It's getting close. So Luis Diaz scores. It's 1-0. 1-1. 2-1, and that's going to finish it. Colombia avoids potential disaster, and they move on. Scotland versus Burundi. Let's see who wins this one. Scotland with the goal. An own goal. 2-0, Shea Adams. And Scotland advances after a 2-0 victory. So far, I think Solomon Islands is the only upset we've had so far, although this Netherlands-Bhutan game was close. We have Azerbaijan and Cook Islands. Azerbaijan opens, but Cook Islands gets it back immediately. Cook Islands up 2-1. I think this might be an upset. And Cook Islands advances, and that is giant killing. Cook Islands wins, so we have our second upset of the tournament. Cook Islands upsetting Azerbaijan, according to the simulator. I'm assuming it would be like that in real life too. Here we go. Canada versus Pitcairn Islands, or Pitcairn Islands. Canada opens it up, and it's immediately 2-0. 3-0 now, and after an own goal. 4-0, and that's going to all but put it away. 5-0. 6-0 Canada, the biggest win of the tournament so far. So they move on to the round of 128. As we have Costa Rica versus Eswatini. Assuming Costa Rica is going to win this one, they open it up, the goal scoring. 2-0 now. 3-0 now, Costa Rica. 4-0 now. They're going to challenge Canada for the biggest defeat or victory of the tournament so far. 5-0, and they will hold off at 5-0. Canada 6-0 is leader. As we have DR Congo versus Alien Islands. I'm not sure how to pronounce the A with the circle above its head. Assuming Congo will take this one. It's 1-0. Red card on. Oh, but they score, and it's 2-1. It's 3-1 now. 4-1, and yeah, Congo 4-2. Wait, hold on. 4-2, and hey, Mikael Olsen, even though his team is out, he is briefly going to be on the Golden Boot race. As we are getting some nice scoring games now, as we have Lebanon versus Kuwait. It's 1-0 Kuwait. We have a penalty. Nasser. It's a goal, and we are tied. In the 81st minute, extra time, we have penalties. And a wide shot by Lebanon to begin the penalties. It's 1-0 Kuwait. Lebanon, they even it up, but they need a save. They don't. 2-1 Kuwait. 2-2. 3-2 Kuwait. 3-3. 4-3 Kuwait. Lebanon needs to score. They do. They need a save. They don't. Kuwait advances in the penalty shootouts. Does not say giant killers, so I'm assuming Lebanon was the team supposed to win. That first shot that went wide right off the left post hurt them. So you have Wales versus Moldova. Now this could be an interesting matchup right here. Both a little bit more bigger nations. We are going to have a penalty. It's a goal from assuming Wales, and it is Kai Andrews with the goal. And it's tied at 1-1. We have extra time, and it's 2-1 Wales. Second half, Moldova needs an answer. They don't get it. It's 3-1. Kai Andrews scores twice. And we have a Golden Boot race that's shaping up to be interesting. Jamaica versus New Caledonia. Scoreless first half. 1-0 Jamaica, and they put it away. An own goal. They did get an injury, though. Keem Dixon was injured for Jamaica, but they move on. South Africa versus Greenland. South Africa in the World Cup. This will be big. Can they win? They got a goal. A 1-0 against Greenland. And they're up 2-0. That should put it away. And they'll finish it off with a 3-0 victory over Greenland. Good victory for them. Romania versus Turks and Caicos Islands, or Caicos Islands. Soon Romania is going to win this one. They do go up 1-0 on an own goal. And they're up 2-0, 3-0. 4-0. They're going to challenge Canada. They don't get it. They stay at 4-0. Canada with the biggest victory of the tournament so far, 6-0. Rwanda versus Kiribati. African nation. I can't remember if Kiribati is in Africa or not. I don't think it is. And I apologize. My geography isn't that great for the African countries. As Gilbert Mugisha, a hat trick. He's going to be the leader of the Golden Boot race already. They move on. Hungary versus Tokelau. And we have an early penalty. It's a goal for, I think, Hungary, and it is. Early goal for Hungary on a penalty. And that will do it for that one. So Hungary move on, and the only goal is a penalty. Argentina versus Afghanistan. I imagine Argentina will take this one. See if Messi is able to pick up a goal here. If a red card for Afghanistan, Messi scores a goal. Julian Alvarez, 2-0. He overtakes Messi for Golden Boot race, and it's a 3-0 victory. And Argentina will move on. They did get an injury I just saw. Vietnam versus Malaysia. Vietnam with an early goal. That is it. Vietnam moves on. Madagascar versus Tuvalu. Scoreless so far. And it's 1-0 Madagascar. Penalty, it's a goal. 2-0 for Madagascar. And it's a 2-0 victory for Madagascar over Tuvalu. Paraguay versus Guyana. Extra time. It's a late goal for Guyana. And it's an upset for Guyana over Paraguay. So Paraguay is out. And we have Mauritania against Yemen. Paraguay already out. And Yemen is in danger. Yemen ties it in the 85th minute. Extra time. It's 2-1 Mauritania. Sorry, I can't pronounce the name properly. It's 2-1 win. We have Slovakia, versus Sapmi. I imagine this might be a blowout. Oh man, I messed that one up. One more half of football. We have a penalty. It's a goal. And it's 2-1. Slovakia 1 goal away. And it's 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. And we have extra time. Slovakia 4-3. It's an epic collapse for Sapmi in the second half. My gosh. 3 goals in the second half and 2 goals in the second half and 1 in extra time. Probably would have been the biggest upset of the tournament so far. So Zambia versus Zimbabwe, 2 African countries. It's a goal for Zambia. And they will win it 1-0. Czechia versus U.S. Virgin Islands. I imagine Czechia is going to win this one. Still scoreless. And Virgin Islands with a goal. Czechia needs some late magic. They do get it. Can they get it again? They do at the 90th minute. Whoa, what a finale in that one. The U.S. Virgin Islands, that is another match that it ends in heartbreak for the underdogs. And it is 2-1. And expected goals of almost 3 for Czechia to barely 0.4 for U.S. Virgin Islands. And they almost had a chance to win. Cameroon versus Tonga. Penalty. And it's saved. What a huge save there. Don't know who saved it. I don't know who got the penalty, but Cameroon strikes first in this 52nd minute. Extra time for some reason. I don't know why, but Cameroon wins it. They move on. Germany versus Tahiti. I imagine Germany is going to win this one. And they take the early lead. (2-0). Maximilian Bayer. And it wasn't that big of a blowout, but a 2-0 win for Germany. Morocco versus St. Eustatius. Morocco is definitely a favorite. They're up 2-0 already. They're up 3-0 before halftime. 4-0, 5-0. Can they even up Canada's first? No. So Canada's 6-0 victory is still the team with the lead. Iraq versus Congo. This could be an interesting matchup. A red card for Iraq. They're down to 10 men now. And a goal for Congo in the 46th minute. And an even up. Hashim with the evener. And we have penalties. Iraq goes up 1-0. Save for Iraq. 1-0. 2-0 Iraq. Congo needs an answer. They do. 2-1. 3-1. Congo needs an answer. They do. Congo really needs a save here. They don't get it. It's 4-2 for the win. If Iraq saves it, they don't. Need a save. And they don't. Iraq wins in penalties. 5-3. Wow. A late evener again for the favorites. We have Chile versus Norfolk Island. What a win. Chile takes the early 1-0 lead. 2-0. 3-0, and I expected this one. 4-0 Chile as they blow out Norfolk Islands, who only had one shot on target. Mexico versus Guam. Guam's a U.S. territory, but we'll see if Mexico... Oh, they do. Raul Jimenez with the early 1-0 lead for Mexico. It's a little dangerous right now for Mexico. They get the finisher 2-0. Algeria versus Chagos Islands or Chagos. And Algeria with the 63rd minute goal. Okay, so 3-0 victory for Algeria. Burkina Faso versus Vatican City. Two small countries going at it. Can the Pope's team get him on the board? No. 1-0 Burkina Faso, 2-0 Burkina Faso. And that'll finish it off as they defeat Vatican City. Sierra Leone versus Turkmenistan. Extra time, and we have penalties. 1-0 Sierra Leone. 1-1. A big save for Turkmenistan. They're an advantage, and they are. 2-2. Oh, misses a wide. Back to square even. Sierra Leone does their job. Turkmenistan evens it up. Just win it if Sierra Leone saves it. They don't. We have extra penalties. And another wide shot for Sierra Leone. Turkmenistan wins it in penalties. I think Sierra Leone was the underdogs, and again, they are unable to capitalize. It's here's Serbia versus Monaco. Monaco with the early 1-0 lead. 1-1. 2-1 Monaco on top. And we have a penalty and a goal. It's 2-2. 3-2 now Serbia. We have another penalty. It's a goal. It's 4-2 Serbia. 5-2 Serbia. 6-2 Serbia, 7-2, 8-2 Serbia. My gosh. Monaco just collapsed like Charles Leclerc there, man. Sorry, Charles. Man, that's the most goals of the tournament so far. And that matches Canada's win for biggest margin of victory. My gosh. 15 on target. That means the keeper for Monaco had 7 saves. Guinea versus Saint Bartholomew. I'm assuming Guinea is going to win this one. No, well, they still might. It's 1-1. 2-1 now. 3-1 now, and that is going to do it for Guinea as they win their match. Portugal versus Seychelles. Can Ronaldo win his first match of the 256 World Cup? Bruno Fernandes goes twice. Bernardo Silva, and Portugal is going to move on after a 3-0 victory. England versus Transnistria. Imagine England's going to win this one comfortably. Bukayo Saka, 1-0. Jude Bellingham, 2-0. 3-0, Jude Bellingham. We have a penalty. Declan Rice, England is up 4-0 now. Oh, we might have had another penalty. 4-0 in favor of England. That was an easy victory. Kazakhstan versus Guernsey. Kazakhstan with an early 1-0 lead. 2-0, 3-0, and Kazakhstan is on the way to knocking out the little island south of the UK. Austria versus Marshall Islands. I imagine Austria is going to win this one. Where the Red Bull ring is at. They're up 1-0. They're up 2-0 now as we are approaching, and they're up 3-0, so they're going to win comfortably. Russia versus Nauru. I imagine Russia is going to win this one. We have an early penalty, and it's a goal for Russia. 2-0 now. My gosh, look at his expected goals. It was at .08 at one point. It's 3-0 Russia, though. 4-0 Russia as they show why they could be a dominant force against Nauru. Belgium versus French Guyana. Imagine Belgium, the Red Devils will take this one. Although French Guyana was an early goal. But we've seen this happen before. Red card on the French Guyana. They're a 2-1, though. They scored the 90th minute. That was absolutely the biggest upset of this tournament so far. They even had a red card and we're playing with 10 men for the rest of the match. I mean, that's what? 14 plus 45? 59 minutes of the match they were playing with 10 men, and Belgium only scored 1 and they're out. So we have Kyrgyzstan and Saba. Kyrgyzstan early on the goal. 2-0 now. But what a victory for the team that upset Belgium. I already forgot. And a 4-0 win for Kyrgyzstan. We have Cape Verde or Cabo Verde versus Artsakh. Vozina get to showcase how well he plays. And I say that and he gives up a goal. 2-1. We have a pen. And it's wide. I think that was a pen for Cape Verde. And they're up 3-1. And a win for Cape Verde. Uruguay versus Israel. I don't think Israel has a decent soccer team. Now when Nunez is saved, I'm assuming that was Uruguay's shot. 2-0 Uruguay. 2-1. Israel gets one back, but it's 3-1 now. It's 3-1. Uruguay advances over Israel. Peru versus Sint-Maarten. Assuming Peru will win this one. They're already over a goal expected. Penalty. I'm assuming for Peru, and it is. They scored the opener. They're up 1-0. And it is a 1-0 victory for Peru. A little bit scary for their fans, I bet. As we have Indonesia versus Western Sahara. Or Western Sahara. So Indonesia lights the lamp first. That's a hockey reference. Penalty. And it's saved. I think that was a penalty for Indonesia, or for Western Sahara. So Indonesia, they're up 3-0 and they win it. Cyprus versus Kurdistan. This is an interesting battle between two small nations. Smaller nations in football. Cyprus takes the early 1-0 lead. 2-0 now. 3-0 now. 4-0. It's a 4-0 win for Cyprus as they move on. So we have Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Fiji. There's the opener. It's 2-0. There's Demirovic. 2-1, but Fiji can't pull back anymore. Good win for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Here's Tanzania versus Singapore. (1-0) for Tanzania. And another low-scoring affair, but it's a win. Kazakhstan versus India. India, not really a proper football nation. But we'll see if they can upset Tajikistan. Or Tajikistan. Nope, they can't. 2-0 victory for Tajikistan. Panama versus Somalia. Another African country versus a South American country. Panama takes the early 1-0 lead. And they will take it 1-0. Denmark versus Cambodia. Can Denmark win? We'll roll Cambodia. No, Cambodia takes the early lead. 1-0 after the first half. Second half is underway. And Cambodia wins. I think that's a giant killer. It is. Cambodia sends Denmark home. So another upset. So we have Suriname versus Easter Island. Another small couple countries. Suriname have to take the lead. 1-0. 2-0 now. 2-0 victory for Suriname. Here's Bahrain versus Djibouti. Djibouti opens the scoring. 1-1. 2-1 now. Bahrain takes a 2-1. Takes a 1-goal lead and they win it. So here's Syria versus the Falkland Islands. We're going to have... Oh, Syria, an own goal. Louis Leach, an own goal, and Syria moves on. Here's Bolivia versus Gibraltar. Gibraltar opens the scoring. Bolivia answers right back. They're up 2-1. They're up 3-1, and that looks like they're up 4-1. That's going to be it. Gibraltar had their one chance. 5-1, my gosh. A 5-1 victory for Bolivia over Gibraltar. So here's Kenya versus Zanzibar. Penalty. And it's saved. So we know it's for Kenya, the penalty. They're dominating the stats. We're going to have a penalty shootout. No extra time for some reason. 2-1. Sorry, 1-0. 1-1. 2-1. 2-2. Both teams are even. And now Zanzibar. Their advantage. Kenya needs to score. They do. Zanzibar to win it. They missed it wide, and we have extra penalties. Oh, you'll go another round. Zanzibar needs to score. They do. Kenya needs to score. They don't. Zanzibar can win it again. They do. Zanzibar knocks out Kenya. That's another giant killer in penalties. Here's Ghana versus Belize. Early scoring opportunity for Abdul Mumin. Ghana takes the 1-0 lead. And it's 2-0. Not all but set in stone this result as Ghana advances. As we have Namibia versus Guinea-Bissau. $1-0 for Namibia. That is a 1-0 win for oh my gosh, Namibia. My gosh. Malawi versus Vanuatu. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing countries wrong, especially if you're from these countries watching this video. I seriously apologize. And Vanuatu wins. They were not giant killers, so they were the favorites in that game. Guatemala versus Northern Mariana Islands. Guatemala with the early 1-0 lead, and they're up 2-0. I imagine Guatemala is the favorites here. It's 3-0 now, 4-0 now. 5-0. Can we match Canada? No. So no one's been able to advance. Oh, here we go. Norway versus Mayotte. Come on, Holland. What are you doing, man? There he goes. Holland with a goal. 76th minute. Norway barely squeaks by. Oh, man. Here's China versus Brunei. China with an early 1-0 lead. 2-0 now for China. And China with a 2-0 victory. Here's France versus Pakistan. See if Mbappe is able to do something here. Belgium has been the first heavyweights to be knocked out of this World Cup. And Mbappe just wasn't playing, I guess. 2-0 victory for France. So we have Mali versus Bangladesh. Bangladesh with an early goal from Islam. Bangladesh holds on with a 1-0 victory over Mali. Bulgaria versus Abkhazia. Bulgaria with an early 1-0 advantage. 1-1, 2-1. It's a 2-1 victory for Bulgaria. El Salvador versus Anguilla or Anguilla. I'm assuming it's Anguilla. And it's a 1-0 lead in the 7th minute for Anguilla. Or Anguilla, maybe. Penalty, it's a goal for Gil. And we are tied at 1. 2-1 now. That penalty is all El Salvador needed to get him going. And they win it 2-1 over Anguilla. So Slovenia versus British Virgin Islands. 1-0 for Slovenia so far. 2-0. 3-0. 4-0 already. 5-0. Here we go. Can we challenge Canada? No. 5-0. The Golden Boot race really has not changed much. Sudan versus South Sudan. Oh, this is an amazing matchup right here. South Sudan takes the early 1-0 lead. 2-0 now. This is for who the better Sudan will be. 2-1. Can we have extra time? We can't. No, Sudan takes the lead, and Sudan with the victory over South Sudan, and they have the bragging rights. As he was Faroe Islands versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is a wild matchup here. And the Faroe Islands takes the early advantage, but St. Vincent leads 2-1. 2-2. Extra time. 3-2 at the buzzer, the 118th minute for Zeno Solomon. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines wins. This we have Trinidad and Tobago versus Palau. I'm assuming that last matchup was not an upset. But a lovely battle between two small nations. $2-0 now for TNT. And TNT moves on. Armenia versus Reunion. Armenia strikes first. I'm assuming Armenia is going to win this one comfortably. So already have 3-0 in the first half. 4-0. Will they challenge Canada? 5-0. They don't. 5-0. Finland versus Central African Republic. Finland versus Car. Finland with the early 1-0 lead. 2-0. 2-0 victory for Finland. Brazil versus Sri Lanka. And Brazil with it took a while for them to take the lead, but they win 1-0. As Casemiro is injured, Vinicius Jr. with the goal. North Korea versus Maldives. Here we go. Oh, big up North Korea. Big up Kim Jong-un's squad as North Korea wins 1-0. They're moving on. So we have Qatar versus Christmas Island. I mean, if Qatar loses, then yeah. There we go. And there's the goal scoring. 2-0. Penalty. If that was Christmas Island, it's big. No, it's for Qatar. 3-0. Australia versus Mauritius. $2-0 for Australia early. 3-0. Penalty. Torre. Is that from Mauritius? No, Australia. Mohamed Torre. I didn't realize he played for Australia. Montenegro versus Cuba. Golden Boot race is still the top at 3 for Brahim Diaz and Gilbert Mugisha leaning away. We have extra time and penalty shootouts. Montenegro starts to scoring. 1-1 now. 2-1. Shot wide for Cuba. This is big for Montenegro. They're up 3-1. Cuba, they get a big one back. They need a save, though. They don't. They got to score here. They do. They need a save here. They don't. And Montenegro will move on and win the penalty shootout. So we have Estonia versus Laos, but I'm going to be right back, guys. The video will stay live. This shouldn't be too long of a delay, but I'm going to be right back. Alright, sorry guys, I had to go get something real quick. Estonia versus Laos. Have a lovely tournament so far. Extra time again, and we're going to have penalties again. Estonia takes the early 1-0 lead, 1-1. And 2-1. 2-2. 3-2. 3-3. No saves yet. And there we go. Laos to take the lead. And they don't. What a save for Estonia. 4-3. Big shot here. And as we're going to do extra pens. Big shot. Again, extra pens. Big save. Laos with a chance to win it. They do. Laos beats Estonia. How about that? That's considered an upset. Laos upsetting Estonia. Here's Nigeria versus Aruba. What a victory there. It's 1-0. That is really gone out of hands now. Aruba. Nigeria matches. They officially overtake Canada with the biggest margin of victory in this tournament so far. 7-0 victory. Not the most goals in the game victory, but the biggest victory of defeat is Oman versus the Cayman Islands. We have a penalty. It's 1-1. Sorry, 2-0 Oman. And Oman will take this victory 2-0. So we have Libya versus Puerto Rico. Libya with an early 1-0 lead. And it's going to be a victory for Libya over Puerto Rico. So you have Angola versus the Bahamas. It is all I can think about is Charles Barkley's rant about Angola. So victory for Angola. Switzerland versus American Samoa. It's going to be a big victory. Reno victory for Switzerland over American Samoa. So we have Gabon versus Andorra. Gabon in extra time on an even up. Oh, now we have the goal scoring, and it's a 2-1 victory for Gabon over Andorra. So you have Comoros versus Ethiopia. A lovely round of 256 so far. We have a couple upsets. We have a 1-1 tie. We're going to have extra time. 2-1 Ethiopia. And Ethiopia wins it in extra time. You have Uzbekistan versus San Marino. San Marino, one of the worst teams on FIFA's rating. But they take the 1-0 lead over Uzbekistan. Oh my gosh, San Marino. One of the lowest rated teams in FIFA's rankings, and they beat Uzbekistan. Not that Uzbekistan is like this big powerhouse, but the fact that San Marino is moving on is crazy. As we have Curacao versus Isle of Man. This looks like a funky logo. Isle of Man with an early 1-0 lead over Curacao, who got a point in the World Cup and the goal. We have extra time. Curacao will win and move on to the round of 128. So you have Iran versus Lithuania. Iran with an early 1-0 lead. I think Iran's probably going to win this one. No, Lithuania late evener. We have extra time. We're going to have penalties. Iran 1-0. Lithuania evens it up 1-1. Iran 2-1. 2-1 with a big save for Iran. 3-1 now. Lithuania needs to score. They don't. Iran can win it. And they do. Iran with the victory over Lithuanian Pens 4-1. So you have Spain versus Botswana. Early goal for Lamine Yamal. And the early goal counts. Just a 1-0 victory for Spain, but they move on. Georgia versus Bermuda. And Bermuda is going to take the early 1-0 lead. Bermuda, another small nation, and they'll take it over Georgia. So you have Venezuela versus St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a penalty. David Martinez scores, and it is a goal for Venezuela. And it's a 2-0 lead for Venezuela, 2-1. And it's a victory for Venezuela. A little bit of a heartbeat there. Japan versus Sealand. I don't even know if Sealand is a country. 1-0 for Japan, 2-0 for Japan, 3-0 for Japan, and it's a 3-0 victory for Japan. Wait, hold on, let's look this up. Sealand. Principality of Sealand. It's an actual place. Okay. Oh, I know what that is. That's the I've seen the video on that. Egypt versus Samoa. 1-0 for Egypt. Abdul Karim, and that's a victory for Egypt, 1-0. Saudi Arabia versus Liechtenstein. 1-1. Quick pair of goals there. 2-1 now, 3-1 now, and an own goal. 4-1, and that is going to be a victory for another Middle East team. 5-1. 5-1 victory for Saudi Arabia. Gambia versus St. Lucia. Wonder who the U.S. will play. Scared to watch them play in this thing. I mean, we had Spain. We have a penalty. Abubakar Berry scores for Gambia. Considering Spain only won 1-0 in their matchup, that's a little scary. 2-0 now for Gambia. 2-1. St. Lucia comes back, but unable to win as we have Luxembourg versus Latvia. Luxembourg with a 2-0 lead. And that's going to be a victory for Luxembourg. Is that considered an upset? No. Belarus versus Martinique. Belarus with an early 1-0 lead. 2-0. 2-1. 3-1. Martinique couldn't answer back, and it's a 3-1 victory for Belarus. You have Albania versus Cocos Islands. I imagine Albania is going to win this one. And they do a late goal for a late goal there, beating Cocos Islands. Here's Greece versus Mongolia. Early goal for Greece. 2-0 for Greece. Same guy. An own goal for Mongolia. That's going to finish it off. And it's 4-0 win for Greece. Jordan versus the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic with an early 1-0 lead. I think this would be considered an upset if Dominican Republic wins. They're up 2-1 over Jordan. Jordan, the answer's back. Extra time. We have pens. Early goal for Jordan. Dominican Republic answer. Jordan answer. 2-2. 3-2. 3-3. 4-3. Big shot here for DR. They score. Big shot here for Jordan. They score to finish it off. And they do save it. Jordan wins 5-4 in pens. Man, that was crazy. Here's Italy versus Bonaire. See if Italy can properly have a win here. 2-0 now. And it's 3-0 now. And Italy, they won the Euros 4 years ago. And they are whooping Bonaire 6-0. Northern Ireland versus Sao Tome and Principe. Not really sure how to pronounce that. And it's going to be a dominating victory there. As we have a penalty at 6-1. 7-1 Northern Ireland with the win. Iceland versus Eritrea. Iceland with their early goal. 2-0 for Iceland. 3-0 for Iceland. 4-0 for Iceland, and that is going to do it as Iceland will take the victory. Honduras versus Papua New Guinea. 1-0 for Honduras. 2-0. It's a 2-0 victory. Equatorial Guinea versus Macau. 1-0. It's a 1-0 win. Ivory Coast versus Montserrat. 1-0 lead for Ivory Coast. 2-0. 3-0. Ivory Coast is going to win this one. 4-0. Cote d'Ivoire. Turkey versus Timor-Leste. Early lead for Turkey. 2-0 lead. There's a red card for Timor-Leste, and that's not going to matter anyways. 3-0 lead for win for Turkey. So we have Benin versus Dominica. 1-0. 2-0. It's a 2-0 victory for Benin. Kosovo versus Hong Kong. Matt Orr plays for Hong Kong. And Hong Kong wins versus Kosovo. That's considered a giant killing, so that's an upset. So you have South Korea versus Chinese Taipei. 1-0 for South Korea. 1-1. Penalty. Sung Ho-min for South Korea, and he misses. That would have been a go-ahead goal. They score anyways, and so does he. And he does it again. He could have had a hat trick if he would have scored, but South Korea moves on. Haiti versus Nepal. Nepal win and takes the lead. Haiti with the lead and they win it. Two 2-1. Senegal versus Somaliland. It's a funny name. 1-0. 1-1. Penalty. Bamba Dieng. He scores, and it's 2-1 Senegal. 3-1. He does it again. We have another penalty. Mane. And it is 4-1 Senegal, and looks like Senegal is going to win it as Somaliland gets one late, but explosion of goals in the second half. As the USA are getting their first game against Liberia. Here we go. Please do not get upset in the round of 256. We have a penalty. Pulisic. Okay, 1-0. And Pepe scores 2-0. 3-0 Pulisic. And it's a comfortable victory for the U.S. Mozambique versus Saint Martin. Saint Martin, I guess. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. It's a 3-0 victory for Mozambique. Ecuador versus Nicaragua. Nicaragua with a early 1-0 lead. It's big, actually, if Ecuador loses. Late answer, back-to-back late answers for Ecuador. For Ecuador beating Nicaragua. So we have Sweden going up against St. Pierre and Miquelon. 1-0 Sweden. 2-0 Sweden. 3-0 Sweden. 3-1. Sweden is going to win it 3-1. Uganda versus Barbados. See this one here? 1-0 Uganda. 2-0 Uganda. 2-0 win for Uganda. Palestine versus Micronesia. I'm assuming Palestine's going to win this one. Yeah, they're already up 1-0, 2-0. Or 3-0, 4-0, my gosh. 5-0, they're going to challenge. I completely forgot who got the highest scoring now. They win it regardless. Ukraine versus Chad. 1-0 Ukraine. 2-0 Ukraine. 3-0 Yaremchuk. 2 tallies. And it's 4-0. 4-0 victory for Ukraine. Republic of Ireland versus the Philippines. This is a pretty big game. So 1-0 victory for Philippines, which is considered a giant killer. So we have finished the round of 256 now as well. So we have finished round of 256. The Golden Boot, Raheem Diaz, and Gilbert Mugisha lead the way. So we have Thailand versus Solomon Islands. This is 64 games now. See if Thailand can win this game. And Solomon Islands, we have a non-upset, but the Solomon Islands again moves on. I think they beat North Macedonia, which was an upset. So Solomon Islands are in the round of 64. The Netherlands versus Togo. Two 0 Netherlands. It's a 2-0 victory for the Netherlands. Here's United Arab Emirates. Penalty. Lucas. They scored. 1-0 for the UAE. It's a 1-0 victory. 1-1 after the penalty. The second penalty goes in. It's 2-1 Tunisia. New Zealand is in danger. And New Zealand's in, yeah, that's a victory. Here's Croatia versus Niger. Niger takes the lead. Extra time. Penalties. There's a save. There's a goal, 1-0. It's 1-1. 2-1, Niger. Croatia saved again. Luka Modric is out if they score. Or if they get saved, but they're out at their score anyways. Oh, what a save! This is big for Croatia now. They scored. Niger can still win it. They don't. Oh, what a comeback for Croatia. They miss wide, though. And Niger puts it away. Oh, Niger with a giant killer getting them to the round of 64. So here's Colombia versus Scotland. Oh, man. Scotland will take a win. They do get a red card. Canada versus Cook Islands. Canada won 6-0 last time these two teams played. Canada with the late goal in the 91st minute. It was beginning of extra time. Canada wins 6-0 their first match, and they barely squeak by with a 1-0 win, but they're on regardless. Costa Rica versus DR Congo. Costa Rica will win that one. Kuwait versus Wales. Penalty. 1-0 Wales. It's going to be a 1-0 victory for Wales. So you had Jamaica versus South Africa. And South Africa will win. Romania versus Rwanda. There's a goal for Romania on a penalty. Romania up 2-0. 3-0 now. 3-1. Rwanda gets one back. It's 4-1. And Romania takes the lead. Still no updates to our Golden Boot leader. But Rwanda is out, so Gilbert Mugisha can't score anymore. So you have Hungary versus Argentina. I know Messi scored once in his first goal. Excuse me, takes a penalty and he has a second tally. It's 1-0 Argentina. 1-1 Hungary gets one back. 2-1 Hungary. And Hungary, I just blew past this. Hungary upsets Argentina at the round of 128. My gosh. Oh my gosh. Giant Killers Argentina are out. My gosh. Madagascar versus Vietnam. Oh man. Oh, 1-0. 2-0 in the penalties. Miss wide for Madagascar. This is a big shot, and Madagascar has to score or they're out. They score, but they need to save everything else, and they don't. Vietnam defeats Madagascar and move on. As here's Guyana versus Mauritania. Unbelievable. Guyana with the early tally. 1-1. 2-1 Mauritania, and they take the win. Is that a upset? Not technically, according to the thing. Slovakia versus Zambia. I can't believe I just blew over the fact that Argentina was done. Slovakia takes a 1-0 lead. 2-0 for Slovakia. 3-1. Zambia gets one back. But Slovakia will move on to the round of 64. Here's Czechia versus Cameroon. This is why I wanted to do the games live, because Argentina losing, I might have missed that if I would have just simulated the rounds. So as Cameroon, a late answer. They get 2 now. We're tied at 2-2, second half of extra time. No goals. We have penalties. Czechia gets on the board. So does Cameroon. Czechia gets one right back. Cameroon saved. That's big. Czechia, they score. They have an early advantage. Cameroon with a big advantage, or get big answer back, but they need a score here. They do, they need a save now. They don't, and Czechia move on as they defeat Cameroon and pens. As Germany versus Morocco, this is an early big game. I mean, Argentina losing is already big enough, but if Germany loses to Morocco, this could be huge, and the other way around too, because both of these teams could win the World Cup. But it looks like it's going to be Morocco advancing over Germany to the round of 64 as we have Iraq versus Chile. And Chile will move on over Iraq. Mexico versus Algeria. Algeria. Oh, no goal is what lost to Mexico. So Mexico and Argentina are out. Mexico probably would not have won, but the fact that they're out in the round of 128 is crazy. Now we have Burkina Faso versus Turkmenistan. Unbelievable here. Burkina Faso with an early tally. Turkmenistan gets one back. Extra time again. We have pens again. Burkina Faso 1-0. Turkmenistan, they even it up 1-1. 2-1. 2-2. 3-2 Burkina Faso. 3-3. Save Turkmenistan. If they score here, they have an advantage. They miss wide. It's 3-3 still. Enter Burkina Faso. Turkmenistan has a chance. Again, they save it. What a pen. A goal. Turkmenistan to tie it. They don't. Burkina Faso moves on. They beat Turkmenistan in pens. And Serbia versus Guinea. Wow, what a finish there as Serbia opens the scoring in the 32nd minutes. Guinea answers right back. Not right back, but they answer back not too long. They're up 2-1. Serbia on the brink, and they're out. 2-1 win for Guinea. Portugal versus England. We are going to have another powerhouse team gone in this World Cup. We had Argentina get knocked out. Germany lost to Morocco, and now Portugal versus England. I mean, I think England has a better team, but we'll see who wins. Scoreless first half. 1-0 Portugal. 2-0 Portugal. And Ronaldo still has a shot at winning the World Cup. His first in tying Messi. Kazakhstan versus Austria. I still can't believe that Messi was eliminated. 2-0, sorry. Kazakhstan lead. Australia gets one back, though, so it is 2-1 now. 2-2 Austria. Extra time. 3-2 Austria. And that is it. Austria moves on over Kazakhstan. As here's Russia versus French Guyana. I imagine Russia's going to win. They had an easy first one. You have a new Golden Boot leader, Michael Grigorich. with Austria. Of course, there's 4 players with 3 goals, although Gilbert Mugisha's team is out as Russia will win 1-0. And Russia scored Georgi Melkadze as one. Here's Kyrgyzstan versus Cape Verde. Lozina, can he come up big for Cabo Verde? A goal for Cape Verde, and it's 2-0. They have a shot at moving on, and they are on to the round of onto the round of 64. Uruguay versus Peru. Uruguay answers right back, extra time. 2-1 Uruguay, and a victory over Peru. So you have Indonesia versus Cyprus. And Indonesia wins. So Cyprus is out. Here's Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Tanzania. And Bosnia and Herzegovina at the 90th minute wins it. Wow, what a win there for them. Here's Tajikistan versus Panama. And Panama with an early 1-0 lead. 2-0 now for Panama. 3-0 now for Panama. And Panama shuts out Tajikistan 3-0. Cambodia versus Suriname. Suriname with a 2-0 lead. Looks like they're going to move on to the round of 64. And they do. Good win for them. Bahrain versus Syria. Syria with the 1-0 lead. 1-1, 2-1 Syria. And Syria moves on to the round of 64. So we have Bolivia versus Zanzibar. Red card for Zanzibar. Extra time, Bolivia answers twice, and that is going to finish off Zanzibar. Red card just hurt him too much. Ghana versus Namibia. Extra time, and we have penalties. Ghana answers first. Namibia is down 1, or tied, they answer. 2-1. 2-2. Ghana, big shot here. It's 3-2. Namibia answers back 3-3. 4-3. And a save. A goal here wins it for Ghana. And they do. Ghana beats Namibia. And we'll move on to the round of 64. Vanuatu versus Guatemala. And Guatemala wins it in the 67th minute. Norway versus China. This is actually a pretty big nation type game. It's 1-1. Holland gets his second goal of the game. And it's 2-1 over China for Norway. Holland now leads the Golden Boot race. France versus Bangladesh. France is another big nation on there. Mbappe has not scored yet, by the way. As Ousmane Dembele makes it 2-0, it does Mbappe. So France moves on to the round of 64. Mbappe gets his first goal. Bulgaria versus El Salvador. 1-1. Oh, El Salvador in the last minute of extra time. Makes it 2-1. It's here Slovenia versus Sudan. Sudan, remember, they beat South Sudan to get to the round of 128. Slovenia is up 2-0. And it is a 3-0 victory for Slovenia over Sudan. So here's St. Vincent and the Grenadines versus Trinidad and Tobago, TNT. I'm just going to keep calling them TNT. (1-0) TNT, and they win it 1-0. Armenia versus Finland. Finland with an early 1-0 lead. 2-0 now for Finland. And a 2-0 win for Finland over Armenia. Brazil versus North Korea. The fact that this happened in real life in 2010 and North Korea only lost by 1. Brazil with a 2-0 lead. Oh, Neymar getting a goal. It's over for Brazil, or for North Korea. Not that that's a bad thing, but we have a penalty, Junior, to make it 4-0, and it's 4-0. 5-0 now, and a big victory for Brazil over North Korea. As we have Qatar versus Australia. It's actually a pretty big game. Australia with the goal. And the Socceroos are on to the round of 64. Montenegro versus Laos. Laos, their early goal, 6th minute. Tied it up, those Montenegro, and Laos gets it right back. 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, an own goal. What a first half. It's 3-3, extra time. And of course, this goes to penalty shootouts because it's been that type of game. It's 1-1. 6 goals combined. And it's 2-2 in the penalties. 3-2. It might be a while. We might be here for a while. 3-3. 4-3. 4-4. 5-4. Goalie goes wrong way for the first time in like 4 shots. 6-5. 6-6. 6-7. Oh, what a save! Montenegro wins. Laos is out in pens. As we have Nigeria versus Oman. Nigeria. Early goal for Nigeria. Oman tied it up. We're going to have extra time. And we're going to have another pen. Nigeria up 1. Oman misses wide. 2-0 Nigeria. Oman needs a tally. They don't. It's 2-0. This is a big shot. This is huge. They need to score all 3 and save the next 2 to Oman. And they don't. Nigeria moves on and pens. Libya versus Angola. And we are going to have extra time, and we are going to have penalties for the 3rd straight match in a row. It's 1-0 Libya. 1-1. Misses wide as Libya. Keeper went the wrong way. 2, and Angola does the same thing. 2-1 Libya. 2-2. Misses wide again does Libya. Angola with advantage. They score down the middle. Libya needs a score. And they do. Angola wins it here if they score. They do. Angola advances over Libya. Libya missed left wide twice. So we have Switzerland versus Gabon. 1-0 Switzerland. 2-0 Switzerland. And the Swiss, with their John Wick lookalike, their Mads Mikkelsen lookalike coach, move on. Ethiopia versus San Marino. Can San Marino win and move on? Ethiopia with the early 1-0 lead. Can they? No, San Marino is out in the round of 64, a round of 128. We have Curacao versus Iran. Scoreless first half. Iran gets one. Kershaw evens it up. They take the 2-1 lead. Kershaw is moving on to the round of 64. As Iran is out. This will be a Spain versus Bermuda. Remember, Lamine Yamal only scored once in their first match, and Spain only won 1-0 in their first match. Nico Williams, Ferran Torres, and that is about as expected. Lamine Yamal gets his second tally of the World Cup. Bermuda gets one back. Lamine Yamal has his third goal. He has a hat trick. He has 4 goals. He takes over the Golden Boot League with 5 goals. Wow. Here's Venezuela versus Japan. That could be enough already to win it. Two 0 3-0 Japan on top. And it's 3-0. So Egypt versus Saudi Arabia. Egypt evens it up. 2-1 Egypt. And it's a victory for Egypt. Here's Gambia versus Luxembourg. Penalty. Not sure who had the penalty, but if it was Luxembourg, they missed wide, and that was a big miss because Gambia wins it 2-0. Belarus versus Albania. In Belarus, we are going to have penalties again. Belarus 1-0. Albania 1-1. Belarus 2-1. 2-2. A save for Albania. Oh, missed wide is Albania. 3-2. 3-3. Belarus saved. Albania, if they score, they win. And they do. Albania defeats Belarus and will move on to the round of 64. Greece versus Jordan. And Jordan will win 1-0. Italy versus Northern Ireland. Can Italy move on to the round of 64? Or they were knocked out. They were knocked out of World Cup qualifiers. 2-0. 3-0. Italy. 4-0. Italy. It's over. Italy going on to the round of 64. 5-0. And the 90th minute, Northern Ireland is done. We have Iceland versus Honduras. It's 1-1. Penalties. 1-0 on Honduras. Tied at 1. Still 1-1. 2-1. 2-2. 3-2. 3-3. 4-3. Honduras need to score. They do. We're going extra penalties. 5-4. 5-5. Oh, man, we got a goal. We got pressure all over the place here. Oh, man, we're moving on to the next round. 8-7 was the highest penalties we went to. So far, and it's going to stay at that Iceland will win over Honduras. Iceland to the round of 64. Equatorial Guinea versus Cote d'Ivoire. Penalty for Ivory Coast. They take the 2-0 lead now. After taking the 1-0 lead, they're up 3-0, and that's going to be it for Equatorial Guinea. There's a 4th goal for Ivory Coast. 4-0. Turkey versus Benin. There's a penalty. And it's a goal for who? Turkey. It's 2-0 Turkey. 2-1 Benin. Oh, Benin are after an own goal, but Turkey immediately gets one. It's 3-2. 4-2, and I think Turkey has it now after a little bit of a scare. 4-2. Hong Kong versus South Korea. Hong Kong won already, and Sung Heung-min and Sun got their goal scoring early for South Korea, and I think that's going to be it. Hong Kong's run in this World Cup is over with. So you have Haiti versus Senegal. We have a penalty. There's a Senegal Zhang with the goal. (2-1). And Senegal moves on over Haiti. And we have the USA versus Mozambique. Please, guys, do not get eliminated in the round of 128. And we're already down 1-0. There's a penalty. Pulisic. He scores. We're tied at 1. It's a big goal. That's his third, I believe. Penalty, that's for them, and they score. It's 2-1 Mozambique. The U.S. is on the verge of elimination. Pulisic. Extra time, Pulisic with the hat trick. I believe he had 4. He had 4 goals. He had 2 goals in the first round. 3. He leads the Golden Boot race. Oh man, and the U.S. move on. My gosh, here's Ecuador versus Sweden. Oh man, giving every U.S. fans heartbreak potentially. As Ecuador will win it over Sweden, move on to the round of 64. Uganda versus Palestine. I believe Palestine will win this one. They're up 2-0. They're up 3-0, 4-0. My gosh. Don't think they're this good in real life, but I don't know how good Uganda is. 6-0. A 6-0 win for Palestine. Here's Ukraine versus the Philippines. We have a pen for Ukraine. They score. Yaremchuk. I think that's his third tally of the World Cup. 2-0. 3-0 now. 4-0 in Ukraine easily over the Philippines. Moves on to the round of 64. And here we are in the round of 64. The Solomon Islands. They've beaten North Macedonia. I can't remember who they beat in round 2, but they played the Netherlands here in round 3. Netherlands takes an early 1-0 lead. Cody Gakpo. And looks like the Netherlands are going to take this one. And it's a 2-0 victory for the Netherlands. They're moving on to the round of 32. The UAE versus Tunisia. Penalty here. And a goal for Tunisia, I believe. No, UAE, United Arab Emirates with the goal. 1-0. And they are on to the round of 32, beating Tunisia. So you have Niger versus Scotland. Scotland did not get to the group stage, or to the knockout stage in the World Cup this year. They get a red card. Niger, one of the African countries, is going to end up going through to the round of 32. Yes, barely. Scotland got one as giant killing. Yeah, that was a giant killer. Canada versus Costa Rica, one of the host nations, still trying to vie for a round, spot in the round of 32. They are down early to Costa Rica. They get one back. Kamal Miller. 1-1. We have a penalty here for, I believe... Oh, what a save. I believe that was for Costa Rica. That's a big save and an 89th minute goal. We somehow went to extra time, but Canada wins at 2-1, and one of the host nations still moves on, as we have Wales versus South Africa. South Africa, I believe, is the considered giant in this match. They take the early 1-0 lead. They're up 2-0 now, 3-0 now, and they are going to be moving on to the round of 32, just like they did in real life. So we have Romania versus Hungary. Penalty here. It's a goal for who? Hungary. Hungary with the lead. And they will win it, beating Romania. So we have Vietnam versus Mauritania. And Vietnam with the late goal. And Vietnam will hang on and move on to the round of 32. So you have Slovakia versus Czechia. Extra time. Czechia with a goal in extra time. And Czechia knocks out Luka Modric in the round of 64. What a shame, man. Here's Morocco versus Chile. Chile with the lead. That's big. Penalty here. For Morocco, it's missed wide. Chile, they're up 2-0. And another giant killer. Another potential World Cup favorite is done. Algeria versus Burkina Faso. Unbelievable. Extra time. Penalties. Algeria gets the first. Burkina Faso answers. Algeria finishes. Burkina Faso is saved. Advantage Algeria. 3-1 them. Burkina Faso answers to keep it close. 4-2. Burkina Faso needs to score. They do. Big one here, and it's no save. Algeria beats Burkina Faso and moves on to the round of 32. As here's Guinea versus Portugal. Big one here. Ronaldo Slosna scored a goal in this World Cup. Gets a penalty here, and he misses wide. Oh, the jokes write themselves. Still has not scored a goal in the knockout stage of a World Cup. And technically, I know he has in real life now, but still, technically, if we go in this universe, no. And Portugal will still win, but again, he misses the penalties. Here's Austria versus Russia. Russia had a lot of goals in their first couple of games, and they're out. 91st minute. Oh, I thought that was the 90th minute. We're going to have pens. Austria misses their first. And it's 1-0 Russia. 2-0 or 1-1 tie. 2-1 Russia. 2-2. 3-2 Russia. 3-3. 4-3 Russia. Austria has to score. And they don't, and Russia will move on to the... There's no need to watch the last one, but Russia will move on to the round of 32. So you have Cabo Verde versus Uruguay. Uruguay's won the World Cup a few times. They take the lead. They double it. And looks like Cabo Verde is going to get eliminated in the round of 64. So here's Indonesia versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. Indonesia. No goals yet. Indonesia, that's a big one. And that's an upset. Indonesia wins. Panama versus Suriname. Penalty. It's a goal. Panama takes the lead. And they win 1-0. They're on to the round of 32. Syria versus Bolivia. Syria with the goal, and they are going to move on to the round of 32. Ghana versus Guatemala. Penalty here. It's a goal for Ghana. Guatemala answers. Penalty Guatemala. They score. It's 2-1 Guatemala. 2-2, an own goal. Extra time. We're going to have pens. And an early save for Guatemala. And an early save for Ghana. 3 straight saves. I think that one missed wide right. That's a goal. It's 1-0 Guatemala. 1-1. 2-1 Guatemala. 2-2. 3-2 Guatemala. Ghana needs to score to do. They need to save now. They don't. Guatemala moves on. And that gets them into the round of 32. Norway against France. Ooh, Holland versus Mbappe. Early defense here. Mbappe gets his second World Cup goal. An own goal. Extra time. Mbappe gets his third. And France are moving on to the round of 32. As Mbappe now has 3 goals in the last 2 matches. He's now in the Golden Boot races. Here's El Salvador versus Slovenia. Early goal for Slovenia. 2-0 Slovenia. 2-1 El Salvador gets one back. 3-1 Slovenia. 3-2. And Slovenia moves on. As we have TNT in Finland. I like seeing TNT, so I kind of hope they win this match. And Finland, a 74th minute goal, and that's all they needed. It's a 1-0 victory for them. Brazil versus Australia. Neymar versus the Socceroos. We have a penalty. Vinicius Jr., he scores again. I don't know how many goals that is. It might be his third. As Australia gets one, we're going to have extra time. Australia upsets Brazil. My gosh. Unbelievable. That was 4 goals for Vinicius Jr., but he is out of the World Cup and of the World Cup winner. I just realized we had a Slovenia player up here. But Australia moves on to the round of 32 as we have Montenegro versus Nigeria. Nigeria takes the lead. 1-1. Extra time. In Nigeria, we're going to have penalties. 1-0 Montenegro. 1-1. 2-1. 2-2. 3-2. 3-2. Big save from Montenegro. 4-2, they need a goal here. Does Nigeria? They don't. Montenegro moves on to the round of 32. Unbelievable. And that's considered giant killing. Montenegro gets the upset win. It's using Angola versus Mads Mikkelsen. Switzerland gets a goal. And it is Mads Mikkelsen, Switzerland, Swiss, moving on. It's Ethiopia versus Curacao. Curacao with a goal. 2-0 Curacao. 3-0 Curacao. 4-0 Curacao. Yeah, they're going to move on to the round of 32. 5-0. Remember, 7-0 was the biggest margin of victory. And the pen goes in for Curacao. It's a 6-0 victory for them, tying Canada's highest victory. Spain versus Japan. This is big for the Golden Boot, as Lamine Yamal has 5 goals. How many will he score in this match against Japan? Japan with an early lead. No way. Japan upsets Spain. Though actual World Cup winners are out and Lamine Yamal's Golden Boot race is done. Egypt versus Gambia. Mo Salah, I don't know if he scored a goal yet, but an own goal for Gambia gives Egypt the lead, and it's a 2-0 win as Mohamed Haney scores. As here is Albania versus Jordan. So Argentina and Spain, the two teams who faced off in the final, are out. Morocco's out, I believe, to France. And we have penalties. Albania misses their first. Jordan misses their first. Albania misses their second. Jordan scores 1-0. Albania has missed all three so far. Jordan scores. This is a big one. And Albania finally gets on the board, but if Jordan scores, they win. They do. Jordan beats Albania. Move on to the round of 32. Italy versus Iceland. Italy has had a really favorable pass so far, and they're going to probably continue winning. It's 2-0 now. How about Italy having a favorable pass so far and taking advantage of it? All domination in their first 3 matches, I believe. And it's definitely a team effort because they have no one in the Golden Boot race on the top 5 at least. Ivory Coast versus Turkey. Excited to see who the U.S. plays and potentially loses to. Unfortunately, Turkey up 1-0. And a 1-0 win for Turkey. Senegal versus South Korea. South Korea with the lead. And a win for South Korea. USA versus Ecuador. This is a really difficult game. I don't think the U.S. will win this one. Pulisic, though, he adds on to his Golden Boot lead. And then even for Ecuador, that's huge. And we're going to have extra time again. Pulisic again. Oh my gosh, 7 goals for Pulisic in the World Cup in 3 matches, and the U.S. move on to the round of 32. Palestine versus Ukraine. This is a funny matchup. Both teams have scored a lot of goals. Ukraine, according to the stats, have the advantage. And Palestine are going to... Oh no, they're not! They're even enough! Ukraine in the 119th minute knocks out Palestine. And move on to the round of 32. If they play Russia in the round of 32, the comedic timing could never be better. They won't because Portugal will play Russia, but still. Round of 32, and we have the Netherlands versus the UAE kicking things off. This is what this website thinks was this real-life World Cup was. Netherlands versus the UAE. They take the lead. UAE answers right back. Extra time. Pens. Netherlands up 1-0. UAE misses. 2-0 Netherlands. Back-to-back saves. Netherlands, a big shot here. They scored. UAE has to score. They do, but they need to save everything now. And they don't. Netherlands will move on. 4-1 victory for them, and they're on to the round of 16. They're on to the quarterfinals. So here's Niger versus Canada. Canada, host nation. I believe it's just them and the U.S. left for host nations. Canada, can they move on to the round of 16? They will. So Canada moves on to the round of 16. South Africa versus Hungary. This is a big match here. And we're going to have extra time. And we're going to have penalties here. South Africa 1-0. Hungary gets saved by South Africa. South Africa up 2-0. Hungary needs to score. They do. It's 2-1. That's a big goal. South Africa, they're up 3-1. This is a big shot here for Hungary. They get it. They need a save, though. It's missed wide. This is huge for Hungary. And they even it up. It's back on square terms. South Africa answers. Can Hungary answer back? They do. Extra pens. After South Africa scores. Hungary, they even it up. 5-5. 6-5. And Hungary misses and they are out of the World Cup. South Africa moves on to the quarters. So you have Vietnam versus Czechia. Sorry, not the quarters. The round of 16. The quarters is the round of 8. Vietnam, I think they're the underdogs here. Czechia answers in the 83rd minute, the Winnets. We had Chile versus Algeria. As Algeria gets the early 1-0 lead. Two 0 now for Algeria. An African country up 3-0. They'll move on to the round of 16. And we have Portugal versus Russia. Ronaldo against Russia. He has a chance to win a World Cup and get us tied up with Messi. And even make that GOAT debate even bigger. And Portugal does. He still has not scored a goal in this World Cup run. He missed a penalty. And it's 1-0 Portugal. They're on to the round of 16. Uruguay versus Indonesia. Indonesia, definitely huge underdogs, I imagine, here. And Uruguay had seen us one of the few times. There's a penalty. Aguirre. Is that Uruguay's penalty? It is. 1-0 for Uruguay. 2-0 for Uruguay as Aguirre gets his second. Nunez gets another goal. He's had quite a few in this run. And Uruguay advances 3-0. Panama versus Syria. Halftime, no score. Extra time. We're going to have penalties here. Panama, 1-0. Syria needs the answer. They do, 1-1. Panama, it's 2-1. Syria, 2-1. Syria gets their penalty saved. Panama scored up 3-1. Big advantage here. Syria, they going back. They need a save here, though. They don't. They need a score now. They miss wide, and Panama is on to the round of 16. So we have Guatemala versus France. Mbappe, he has 3 goals in the last 2 matches. There's an own goal there, Guatemala. That's an unfortunate own goal. And Kante gets one. And looks like France is going to easily, as Mbappe gets his 4th tally now in 3 matches. As Guatemala gets one back on an own goal. And that'll do it. France and Mbappe now fully in the Golden Boot race and in the race for the winning World Cup. Slovenia versus Finland. Slovenia early tally in the 3rd minute scoring. It's 1-0 Slovenia. 2-0 Slovenia now as Bijic, he is in the running for the Golden Boot. He now has a 6th tally. And Slovenia is on to round 16. Australia versus Montenegro. Australia versus Montenegro. The Socceroos, can they move on? They score a goal. Toure, it's 2-0. Australia, 3-0 victory over Montenegro. Switzerland versus Curacao. Curacao, we have a penalty here. It's missed. I think that was for Switzerland. They get a goal anyways, and Mads Mikkelsen's Swiss are up 2-0. And Curaçao's run, I think it's going to come to an end here. In the round of 16, maybe not. It will. That 83rd minute goal made it interesting. But we have Japan versus Egypt now. Japan, Mo Salah's team. Egypt, Mo Salah still has not scored in this World Cup run. And Egypt will win and move on to the round of 16. Here's Jordan versus Italy. Italy has had a heck of a run. They've dominated all their opponents to this point. And there's another goal for Italy. It's only 1-0. It's 2-0 now. And how about Italy? That's a 3-0 win. They're moving on to the round of 16. All dominant matches here, I believe. We have Turkey versus Heung-min-son, South Korea. What a win for Turkey. Or for Italy. South Korea, Son Heung-min. And that's a game winner. And we have the USA versus Ukraine. This is hilarious. Pulisic only has 1 goal up on Bejic. But can the U.S. move on to the round of 16? Weston McKennie. Pulisic gets his 8th. Ukraine gets one back quickly, though. And the U.S. hang on, and Pulisic has his eighth goal of this game, of this World Cup. My gosh, he's averaging two a match. As we have the round of 16, we're going to take things a little bit slower now to see the actual matchups. Netherlands will play Canada. That's a big one. South Africa versus Czechia. That's interesting. Algeria against Portugal. Uruguay against Panama. France against Slovenia. Australia against Switzerland. Oh, man. So if the U.S., who play South Korea, if they win, they could have to face off against high-scoring and dominating Italy so far against Egypt. Yeah, I think the U.S.'s run will come to an end. But Pulisic still might have a shot at winning the Golden Boot. Netherlands versus Canada. One host nation against one good team. Not saying that Canada is not a bad team, but the host nation gets the early tally. They get two. And, Netherlands gets one back, but that's all. And Canada will move on to the round of, to the quarters. As South Africa versus Czechia. South Africa lost in the round of 32 in real life, I believe. They take the first tally here. And Czechia answers in the 73rd minute, and we will have extra time. And we will have pens for the first time of the round of 16. South Africa gets one early. Czechia gets one back. South Africa gets two. Czechia answers right back, following what South Africa does here. There's a save for Czechia. And South Africa cannot save back. Africa's on the ropes. They score. Czechia, they get another advantage. They do. South Africa has to score here. They do. They need a save. And Czechia scores. Czechia's on to the quarters. My gosh, what an advancement there. Czechia will face Canada in the quarters. This year is Algeria versus Portugal. Can Ronaldo score a knockout stage goal? He has not yet so far. Portugal's up 2-0 though. And Portugal, I don't think he cares about that right now. Portugal, there's a penalty in the 90th minute. And Nunez makes it 3-0. Portugal moves on to the quarters to face off against either Uruguay or Panama. Uruguay's had some close events. It's 2-0 Panama, though. 2 own goals. And Uruguay shot themselves on the foot because if one of those don't go in, they have a chance for extra time. But it'll be Portugal and Ronaldo against Panama in the quarters. And an update to the Golden Boot race. Uruguay, they're out as Cacciamani. Italy, they're still technically in it. They can have a shot here. And this is a big match here for Slovenia for the Golden Boot race and for Mbappe for France. No goals yet. Mbappe gets his 5th tally. 5 goals in 4 matches. 6 goals in 4 matches. And Mbappe and France have themselves into the quarters, and Mbappe has really turned it on. 6 goals in 5 matches for Kylian Mbappe. Crazy. And they're going to play the winner of Australia and Switzerland. The Socceroos, this is Mads Mikkelsen. We're going to have extra time. We're going to have pens. Australia up 1-0. Switzerland, they even up 1-1. Australia, it's 2-1. 2-1. Switzerland misses. Australia misses. We're back even if Switzerland scores, which they do. And Australia misses again. Switzerland, they miss. 2-2. Big shot here. Oh, Switzerland to win it. No, they missed wide. Extra pens. Good goal for Switzerland. For Australia. Switzerland, they tallied it up. A save for Australia. A chance for Switzerland. They score, and Mads Mikkelsen is on to the quarters. What a penalty shootout there. Egypt versus Italy. Oh, by the way, it'll be France and Mbappe against a tough Switzerland team. As Italy against Egypt. Italy has scored a lot in this World Cup. It's probably their first tough match. You have a penalty here. Esposito, is that for Italy? It is for Italy. They're up 1-0. We have a second penalty. Mo Salah, and we're tied at 1-1. First goal to World Cup for Salah. Penalties. Egypt up early. Italy gets saved. That's big. Egypt. Mo Salah misses wide left. Italy even went back up. 2-1. Esposito misses wide left. Then a save, still 2-1. 2-2. 3-2. Italy needs to score to keep it alive. It is still alive. 3-3. 4-3. 4-4. We got a good penalty shootout here now. It's 5-4. It's 5-5. Egypt misses wide right. Italy to move on. They do. Italy moves on to the quarters. My gosh. And it will be United States versus South Korea. The winner of that will face off against Italy in the quarters. I don't know if the U.S. have this one. Pulisic leads the Golden Boot race. Pepe gets a goal. 1-1 after a half. 2-1. Own goal. 2-2. Extra time. 3-2. And the U.S. are out in the round of 16. Son Heung-min does it. And Pulisic is out of the running of the Golden Boots. Probably not if Mbappe doesn't score, but still. And we now have the quarters. Canada versus Czechia. Portugal versus Panama. France versus Switzerland. And Italy versus South Korea. Canada against Czechia. Canada with an early 1-0 lead. Czechia with an own goal, get it back. 2-0 Czechia. Or 2-1 Czechia and another host nation. All host nations are out as Czechia is on to the semis. Portugal versus Panama. Panama up 1-0 early. 1-1. Extra time. We're going to have penalties again. Portugal is out. Ronaldo again can't score. 1-0 Panama. 1-0 Panama still. 1-0 Panama still. 1-1. 2-1 Panama. 2-2. Run. Even turn. Not yet, actually. Portugal needs a score to do. Panama scores, they win. And they do. Portugal is out in the quarters. Panama moves on. It'll be Czechia and Panama to go to the World Cup finals. Oh, man. Huh. France against Switzerland. Can France and Mbappe move on to the semis? And can Mbappe get some goals? We have an own goal here. And it's going to be France on to the semis. Mbappe still 2 behind him. Pulisic for the Golden Boot. And it is going to be Italy versus South Korea for a trip to the semis. Italy has played really well, but South Korea, Son Heung-min has 5 goals now. Oh boy, Italy, penalty. South Korea, it's saved. You saved there. Face off the Euro. Oh, there we go. Son Heung-min. Another penalty. Him again. He scores. It's 2 on South Korea. He has 7 goals now. An own goal and an own. Oh man. Oh. Italy. What? Okay. I think that was a glitch, but Son Heung-min, man, if he would have got that one penalty, he would be tied with Pulisic. But now it is Czechia versus Panama. What the heck kind of semi this end is? That means whoever wins this game is likely going to win the World Cup. We are going to play this time. We are going to slow things down. No penalties. Oh, man. Pulisic still has the Golden Boot lead. But Mbappe is 2 away from tying him and likely taking it away. We don't have a penalty. Played one half. If Panama makes it to the World Cup finals, they might not. An own goal. Czechia. The fact that they've also gotten as far as is just as crazy. And it is going to be Czechia off of an own goal, moving on to the World Cup final to face off against these two juggernauts. Oh, man. Italy versus France. Mbappe needs 2 goals to take the lead in the Golden Boot race. As Pio Esposito, for Italy, he has a shot at the Golden Boot race. It's scoreless first half. France is dominating expected goals on the stats. Gotta imagine they're going to get one here soon. Can Italy get something back? We are going to have no penalty. The clock just stopped there for some reason for a long time. And Mbappe gets his 7th of the tournament, tying Son Heung-min. And France will be moving on to the World Cup final to face off against Panama. But we will have the face-off against Czechia, but we will have Panama against Italy for the 3rd place game. So I guess Esposito, if he gets 4 goals, he could still win the Golden Boot, but I don't think that's going to happen. But the fact that now Esposito, he gets 1-1. Man, Italy, the fact that Italy almost had a shot at scoring is crazy. All right, moving on to the final. It's crazy. That's 2-0 for Italy now. We played through a half. And that is going to do it. Italy wins 2-0, and it is time for the World Cup final. France versus Czechia. I predict France winning 4-0 over Czechia. Let's see what happens. Ten minutes in, still scoreless. But Czechia getting absolutely nothing. There's Mbappe. He's tied for the Golden Boot race. He's going to win it now. And there he is. There's 9 for Mbappe. And that is definitely going to end this World Cup final. Bit of an anticlimactic finish. I mean, Argentina went out in the round of 128. And Czechia got a favorable draw in the knockout stage, in the round of 32 stage. And France wins the World Cup. Mbappe gets the Golden Boots. Man, what a win there. Golden Glove goes to Bryce Samba. Crazy. Oh, man. So, what a win for France. And what a run for them. Pulisic, that was a crazy run of his own. It was a good tournament. Just did not end how I thought it would have ended. But still, what an amazing tournament. But with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. I apologize for not getting any videos out for such a long time. I sincerely apologize, but I want to thank you all for not unsubscribing from me and sticking with me. This is a long video to come back to. If you're still watching, it's crazy. But with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching, and peace.